Right now, what we have is just the camera focus on the character, on the player, on the bot. And we can get a very nice camera focus on the bot. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to make the player so that when the player hits a button, we're going to be able to make the character to hit something. So we're going to program the punch part, okay? So let me watch again the video to see what I've done here. Let's skip it to the end to see what we've done here. So here, I can punch the character, I can punch the bot, and the bot is going to react depending on what part of the body we hit them. We hit him. So the player is going to punch. The character is going to be playing the punch animations. The punch animation. We're going to be playing 3 different types of punch. We're going to set up that later. So the first punch is like a jab. I don't know the name exactly. And then there is the punch with the left hand. And then there's like a swing with his arm. It's very cool. I don't know if it moves the whole body. I don't know if the character... Yeah, it moves the whole body. And as soon as we hit the bot for the 3rd time, the bot is going to fall over because it's a very strong punch, the swing one, the last one. So we're going to do that right now. And for every single punch that we give the bot, we're going to spawn a sphere trace, which is going to be on our character's hand. So for doing that, we're going to spawn a sphere trace, but before, we need to determine where the sphere is going to appear on our character. So let's go to the mesh. Let's go to the skeletal mesh of the character. And let's go to the skeleton tree. And here you can see all the bones that our character have. And here, if you click on show on the character, we're gonna want to show all the hierarchy of the bones so that you can see here all the bones that we have. So we're going to be placing a sphere trace right here. So how we can do that? First, we're going to find the animation. I think I have imported the animation here. I have to find them somewhere here. Hit, punch. Punch in place, swing. This is the swing one. This is the hook in place. I think we can use the punch in place animation, so we don't need the root bone. So the first punch, we use our character's right hand. So I'm trying to search for that one. Is it this one? Yes, it is this one. So we're going to use this one here. Punch straight in place. It's kind of messy here, but whatever. So let's create animation montage here. And we're going to use this one. Let's be sure to force the root lock because I don't want to use root motion for this one. It's not necessary. I think it is necessary for some... Yeah, I think it is necessary. I think we can use the root motion. For the previous tutorial that I've made, I think it was January 13, blah, blah. On the beginning of the year, I used to use motion, it's called motion warping. So basically, regardless where the position of the character is currently at, your player is going to always smoothly go to that location where you specify it to go, and it's going to do that. Basically, that's it. So it's just for smoothly change a location of one target to the other. That's basically it. But this time we're not going to use motion warping. Actually, I don't like to use any plugins. I like to do everything on my own. So we're going to only use motion, root motion for this one. So let's just save, browse the assets, and here you go. So we're going to play this animation first. this animation first. Let's go to the character, and let's say if the character is aiming, so I need an aim is aiming variable is aiming. Now we need the is punching. So we're just going to drag them in here, and I'm going to duplicate them. One has to be enabled, the other one doesn't have to be. We're going to aim using our right mouse button. So for punching, you need to check if the character, if the player is aiming, of course. So if the character is aiming, we can punch. So just make sure. So we're going to play a montage. So here we have a lot of inputs. This is for placing your skeletal mesh here. So we're going to drag and drop it. Now we're going to select the montage to play, which is this one right here. So in order for us to be able to play animation montages in for our character, we need to make sure that we accept the montages. So we need to create a default slot. So this is going to be able for us to, this is going to make us so this is going to basically allow us to play animation montages in our code. All right. So if I press play here, and if I aim, left click, yeah. It's fine. Let's see if we can go to the character movement and type root motion. And here we're going to allow the physics rotation animation with motion. So what this is basically going to do is going to allow us to rotate the character, even though we're going to be playing an animation montage. So that's basically it. All right. So if you play it twice while the animation montage is playing, we're going to play a second animation montage, right? So I don't remember if that's how I've done it, but I think the way I did in the past was like everything was handled inside the animation blueprint, which was kind of a mess. So I think this way we can do it differently. Let's create a variable here, and this is going to be a attack int. So this is basically going to count how many times we have, which exactly the animations we are currently using, we are currently playing. So I'm going to type here integer, and I'm going to set, every time this animation plays, I'm going to set it to 1. Okay. And whenever it's completed, then I think, let's see. Yeah, so we can add to this variable here. So basically at the beginning, this variable here is set to be 0. So we can input, we can decide which value we have to store on this variable right here. So as soon as this animation plays, we want to increment 1 to this variable. I don't know if this is going to work. Let me see. I think there's a variable called increment. Increment int. This one, I think. And if we move it to a variable, select int. All right. So if you get the attack int added, so we're basically adding a new number, a new value to this attack int variable here. So every time you punch once, then we're going to add 1 to this attack int. So this is basically going to work as a attack counter. Okay. So yeah, let me see if we can do it more efficiently than this. If we can select which attack int, as we want to play different animation montages. It would be fair enough to do this, then subtract it, choose the variable, add -1. So in case attack int is 0, then we're going to choose the punch strafe. Then the last one is going to be the swing. I'm going to add it right away because I don't want to forget it. I'm going to delete this motion warping node here. We don't need it. So I just need to make sure that it's the root motion is enabled. I'm going to delete all this nodes here so we can work better. The swing, I need to get the swing for, and we're going to select there for the second option, which is the third option. And now for the second option, option 1, is going to be the left punch, which is I think it's this one. It's like the step. It's too much. He goes like forward and then goes backwards again. I don't want that. But we can stick with that one. There's no problem. This is just basically for demonstrating how I design, how I basically designing specifically for this locomotion here. So you can change the animations later. So the result that we're going to get, the result that we're going to get after this is going to be based from the animations that we have right now. Let's make sure on the asset details we have root motion enabled, and there we go. So, all right, the first one. Okay, we can eliminate this one here. I think we don't need this one. And we're going to get the mesh. We're going to get the anim instance, and we're going to get the is playing montage. So before we play a montage, we need to identify if we are playing another montage. Okay. So if we, in case we are not playing any montage, so is any montage playing? We're going to check that. If it's false, then we're going to play this one right here. We're going to choose the option 1. So we're going to get the attack 0, which is going to make us to play this animation here. And then that's going to go directly into this one, into the play montage node. But in case it's false, let me just plug that into here. But in case it's false, we're going to get another node called is montage playing. So we can like specifically set, we can specifically choose and the animation montage that is currently being played. So we can select the montage here, as you can see on this arrow. We can get the montage. So if we, in case we're playing this montage here and the character presses the left mouse button to punch, then in case it's true, if the first montage is playing, let me just do this. So in case we are not playing any montage, then play the first one and add 0 to the attack. So we're going to basically choose this one. But if no montage is being played, then we're going to check if the first montage is being played. We basically need to check if the first, the second, or the third montage is playing, by the way. So in case the first montage is playing, we're going to get out of true. Yeah. So we're going to play the second one. So we're going to add 1 to here. Let me see here. Yeah, I think I have to complete it. I need to add 0. Yeah, so let's continue. So in case the first montage is playing, then we're going to play the second one. And in case it's not, then we're going to just copy this, paste it here, and then we're going to plug that directly into the play montage and choose 2 to be our montage to play. So we're basically doing this to check depending on which montage is currently being played, so we can play the next one. So I'm just developing this on the top of my head. I'm not like following any scripted tutorial or anyway. So after it's completed, we're going to go to back. We're gonna go back to the attack 0 count 0. So we're going to set this variable to 0 because if it's completed, then we're going to go back to the first punch, which is going to be this one right here. This punch right here. It's very lame. So let's test it out. So first punch. The first punch is actually not good. Let me see what's happening. So here we get the anim instance. We firstly check if any montage is playing. If it's not playing, yeah. If it's not playing, is any montage playing? If it's not playing, then we're going to go to here. And then if it's playing, we're going to check if the montage is this first one right here. Which is it. We're going to check if this montage is the first one right here. And yeah, so let's play. Left. Yeah. By the way, you can choose how much blending you want you're gonna want for your animation montage. So here on the blending time, we have the blend time to be .25, but you can choose it to be like I don't know, like .1. But that's going to depend on how fast you want to blend. So that's going to depend on your specific needs. But I like it to be like just like it is right here on the default value. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much done. So let's see how this is going to look like when we simulate this. So to simulate, just basically click on here and then click here on spawn. But you have to do this when you're running your game. So we punch once, and after the animation is completed, then we go back to the attack 0. But doesn't really matter, I guess. So click once, click twice, and there we go. So you probably have animations better than mine. So this is just for making the system better and more optimized than the last one. So now what we need to do, which is just to, now I need to spawn the sphere trace for each time when the character punches. So let's go to the punch straight. So this one, for example, here, we're going to add a new notify. So this is going to be for the left hand. Actually, this is the right hand. Sorry. So this is the right hand. So this sphere trace is going to start from here, and then it's going to end here. I think for all the animations, we're going to give it a little time. So I think maybe from here is 5 milliseconds. Yeah, I think 10 milliseconds is enough. So we're going to turn off right away. So as soon as this animation gets on this frame right here, it's going to be spawned. And after maybe 10 milliseconds, we're going to disable the sphere trace. So here on the character, here on notify begin, I think I need to add another. It's not on here. Or maybe we can do a. I think it's better for us to do a function inside the animation blueprint, but that wouldn't be much efficient because we would need some information and variables inside the character blueprint as well. So I think it would be better for us to delete this one right here, and as soon as the character punches in the same place, the same frame, we're going to right click and we're going to, instead of adding a notify, we can add a montage notify window, which can be accessed inside the character's blueprint. So yeah. So this is it. So here on the notify begin, we're going to get a sphere trace for, we can get a for objects. I think it doesn't really matter right now. We're going to make array. We're going to add object type. So here we're going to basically get the sphere trace to be spawned as soon as the character punches. So as I said earlier, we have the start and end positions. So the start, it's going to be on the character's hand, on the character's socket. We don't really need to create a socket for this. We can just get the hand R and do some calculations inside the character's blueprint to make the sphere trace better without needing to create sockets. So we're going to get the mesh here and get socket, I think location. Yeah, so we're going to get the hand R here. We're going to get the, I think we're going to get the hand R to be on the end, this R on the end. Let me see if this animation is on the R. Yeah, let's do this for all the other animations for now. So we're going to be able to copy this animation notify here and change it here on the option 0. On the option 1, we're going to punch, but this time we punch with the left arm, so we gotta make sure that we don't play the wrong animation, the wrong sphere trace on the wrong arm. So yeah, this one takes about 10 milliseconds to be completed, as well as the other ones. So let's copy again and paste it there on the option 2. This is the swing punch. I think that's probably going to be here. This one's very fast. I think that's going to be it. Okay, very good. Now that we've added the animation montage notify here, we can do some stuff. I guess we don't need this variable here. Let me just check if we don't really need it. Yeah, I think that looks good for now. So here we're going to choose our radius. I think 15 works well. And as soon as we hit our notify there on the event, as soon as we trigger the notify, we're going to be able to get the our notify begin, which is going to trigger this event here to spawn the sphere trace for objects at runtime. And here for the make array, we need to identify which one is the type of our bot. So we're going to click on the mesh of the bot and click here on the object type. So you can see here is paw. So we're going to make that equal to the paw there. So the actors to ignore, we don't need to do anything there. So the draw debug type is going to be for duration, because we're not going to be running on the event tick. We're going to be running on the normal event. So let me try one punch here for duration. Yeah, I think we need to create a timeline. It's going to help us a lot. So let's create a timeline, because this code here is just executing one time. Just executes one time and that's it, one frame. So we're going to add a timeline, which is going to be very effective for us to be saving the CPU computing process. So we're going to create our timeline to be named punch. And this is going to be pretty quickly, I guess. I think after the notify begin, we are going to go to the play from start, and we're going to double click on our timeline. We're going to add the full track. This is going to, we can name it whatever you want. So punch, I don't know, 0.5 milliseconds. We're going to add the first time there. The length is going to be the duration of how long this timeline will last. So at the current time is 5 seconds. We're going to choose it to be 0.5 milliseconds because that's the time that it takes for one character to punch the other. Now here, we're going to choose our value, which is going to be the value. I think it can be 1, it doesn't really matter. Now the time is 0.5. Let's choose the value to be 0.5 as well. Compile, save. So here on update is going to be on the sphere trace for objects. Now let's try now. So here we go. This is way more this is way much better because it saves a lot on performance. I don't have a event for the option 1 for some reason. I don't know why. Oh yeah, because the left, when we play the second animation here, we're going to be using our left hand. So as we are spawning only for the right hand, we're going to change that. So here we're going to drag off this and type select. So the first option here is going to be, is actually going to be a boolean, and this is going to be for the hand R, and this is going to be for the hand left. Okay. So, oh wait, it has to be an underline L. So here is hand underline R, and this one is for the left hand. So depending on the boolean here, we're going to select the string, which is going to go to this input here, which is going to make us to trigger these three trace after. Okay. So depending on this boolean, we're going to select which hand we're going to spawn for our hand. This is way much better than the first version. So here we have to get a boolean first. So how we can do that? Well, as I know that only option 0 and option 2 uses the right hand, and only the option 1 uses the left hand. So I'm just basically going to get this variable, which I've named it whatever name that is. I'm going to add it to be equal. So if this variable equals to 1, which is the animation that we play using our left hand, then if it's true, then we can use our left hand for spawning the sphere trace. So I'm just going to change this really quickly. Wait, the right hand. Sorry, that was, I think, my fault. I think for false has to be hand right, and the true has to be for the hand left. So we might see some result. So right hand, left hand. Right hand, left hand. Yeah, that's right. This is way much better. We can choose the trace color to be white. It's much better to see it. in the world. Okay. So let's see if it detects our bot. Yes, it does. As you can see, the speed trace turns to be green when we hit the bot. So now we have our outputs. As soon as the speed trace for objects hits our bot, we have the output. So the out hit comes with a lot of other variables that if we do a break hit results, you can find that we can just basically extract the data that of that object that we've just hit, right? So here we can choose the time of impact along the trace direction. Here you can choose the distance and all these other variables that are pretty useful. The one that I look for as well is the hit bone name. So we can basically, if the skeletal mesh has bones, so we can basically get this bone result name here, and we can print out like this to see which bone we hit the bot, right? So if I hit the bot like this, you can see it hits the spine 2, and if I hit the bot like this, it hits the spine 1, like so. So that's very useful. But the first thing that we need to get is the return value, which gets triggered as soon as we hit something. Okay. But first we need to make sure that the hit actor, which is the actor that we just hit with the speed trace, is the same actor that we're trying to hit, which in our case is the bot. So we're going to drag and drop the reference of the bot, and out of the hit actor we're going to add the equal, and if the thing that we hit is the bot, then we can print in string. So if it hits something, then great, go to this true condition here, and if the thing that we hit is the bot reference, then if it's true, we're going to print in string and say hello. So let's try now, and it prints hello there on my screen. So that's basically the basics of programming. So now what we need to do, we need to play an animation for the bot. So the way we can do this is just by getting the bot reference, getting the mesh, and then we can just play a animation montage from there. But that's, I think that's an unusual way of doing it, because as we need more complex ways of interacting with the bot, maybe we would like to have a separate animation blueprint only for the bot. So as soon as the character hits the bot, and then the bot reacts on a different way, and I think it's better. But let's see if it works. So I'm going to play a montage. I've never done this before, so I'm curious if it works or not. I'm going to just basically force the bot to play an animation montage that I want. So I'm going to get just to get this result right away, I'm going to get the hit reaction. And we have different types of hit reactions, like so. You can choose your own. So this one is pretty funny. Hits on the stomach. Yeah, this one is cool. All right, I think I can get the hit reactions to 3. Looks good. Now here we're going to enable the root motion on it, and we're going to use this animation montage to be played on our animation montage there. So I'm going to press on play here and see if the bot reacts. Yeah, as you can see, the bot just walked. So just like basically the animation was played, but as we don't have permission to, as the animation blueprint of the bot does not have permission to play animation montages inside the animation blueprint, the animation montage can't be played. The animation montage cannot be played. So to fix that, we're going to go to the animation graph, and after the locomotion, we're going to type slot default slot, and it's compile, save, and press play and try again. Okay, he walks a little bit. I don't know why, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know why he walks like that. Let me just see if it's using the root motion from Montages only. If we try to ignore root motion, let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't know why it's it's kind of weird. Let me see. Let me disconnect this. I'm going to paste the idle there. So that way the bot can always play the animation of idling. So let's try now. Yeah, I don't know, like when you punch him, it's kind of weird. Okay. So yeah, I think that's not the best way to approach this. So I'm just going to add back my locomotion there. And I'm going to cut this, go to the locomotion. I'm going to create a new state called hit reaction 3, like this. And if the bot is idle, then we're going to make a transition rule, which is going to make our bot to be able to receive the hit reaction animation. So I'm going to paste it here. So if you have the animation, you can just drag and drop it. Mine is going to be this one. And the transition rule is going to, I have to create a transition. I have to create a variable inside the character's blueprint so that we can follow up. So inside the bot, we don't need the inputs because we're not going to be controlling. So you can delete everything that is inside here. Maybe that's because we are getting some issues there. So let's try again. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So here the variables, I'm going to add a new variable called hit react 3. So just basically what I'm basically going to do, I'm just going to create variables inside the bot character blueprint. And basically, depending on I think we don't need to do this exactly in here. We can go directly to the bot and create a variable inside here. So if you create a variable called hit react 3, and we use that as our transition rule from going from idle to hit reaction. From idle to hit reaction, we can go to that transition right away. But I need something to change this value here. So how we can do that? We can do this inside the character animation blueprint. So just make sure your animation does not loop. So loop animation is off. So inside our character's blueprint, what we can do here, inside the begin blueprint play, we can get out of this, get actor. We can get the mesh. We can get the animation instance, and then finally we can get the UE4 bot animation blueprint. So after that, we can just basically get the bot reference. We're going to set, actually we're going to get the bot animation blueprint. We're going to set hit, hit react, get hit. Let me see if I can access. I think I cannot access the set hit react object reference. Yeah, we cannot change the animation blueprint inside here. So let's try to cast to ABP, view for bot. Then we're going to get the mesh. Let's delete this. So I guess that should work. Let's see. Yeah, that works. So we basically casted to the animation blueprint inside our character's blueprint. And then we set a variable directly into the character's blueprint. So inside our character's blueprint, our player's blueprint, we set the variable that is inside our bot's animation blueprint. And then we play the animation like that. So if the bot is idle, then if we receive the hit reaction request, then based on this transition rule condition, if hit reaction Boolean variable is true, then we can go to the state of hit reaction. Then we can play this hit reaction animation. But now, how we can synchronize? So now there's two ways of proceeding with this system here. So one of the ways you can do to like synchronize a punch request and also the, how can I explain this? So now we can do this in two ways. One, when you press, depending on which animation you punch the character, you punch the bot is going to play a different animation depending on the animation you played. Or you can play an animation based on the hit location of where the player hit the bot. For example, if the character, maybe the player has hit the bot in the head, but because that the animation is different, the animation is for playing so maybe, how can I explain this so hard? So yeah, there's two ways of doing this. So first, depending on which punch animation you play for hitting the bot is going to correspond to the hit reaction based on the animation you played. Or the second method you can use is that when the player hits the bot is going to play a reaction animation, but it's going to also depend on the which bone exactly the player has hit the bot. So we can either do it in two ways. I'm going to choose the hardest way, which is going to be based on where exactly the player has hit the bot, which bone exactly the player has hit the bot. So let's go for it. So here on the character, we are going to, so first we need to check which animations we have right now at the moment. So hit reaction 3 looks like this. The character is just being punched on the face, I assume. The hit reaction 2, the character is punching, is getting it, the bot is receiving the animation, receiving the hit reaction of being beaten up on the chest like this. And the fourth reaction, the character is going to be, the bot is going to receive the hit reaction on the down below here. And I think this one is like this. So do I have only that animation? Knocked, get up. I only have those animations, so that's going to be hard. But we can do it the same way. So let's print out a string here after true. I'm going to print a string and say I want to know which bones that the player is hitting the bot. Which bones exactly. Where exactly the player is hitting the bot. Which bones. So I press here punch. It's saying known. I guess I'm getting the wrong. I need to get this one here, hittable name. So let's get it like this. So it says spine 2, lower arm, spine 2, none. And then prints a bunch of other ones. Spine 2, lower arm, hand L. Yeah. So right now we have a problem here, because when I press on play, when I punch, it starts printing none, and then it starts printing the value that I want. So we can get out of hitbone name and say equal. If it says pine 2, we can get a branch, and I want to print a string again. Get print string. Let me think. If we get the hitbone name, we get a branch. If it equals to none, then I want to print a string. None. Okay. So if in case we don't hit any bone, then we can just print a string saying none. But in case we really hit a bone, then we can play the hit react, and then we can stop the sphere trace, which is basically going to just stop everything. It's going to stop the timeline, which runs everything. So let's play and see what we get. So we got none once. Let me see which, oh, here. Just going to delete this print string here. I'm going to play. So we're going to punch once, and then we don't get the message written none that we used to get before. Now hits the hand R. Yeah, so I think that's way a lot better. I wish I could crouch. I wish I could have the ability to crouch, but not for this tutorial. We can do some pretty much fun stuff with this. You can get like the mesh and then say to simulate the physics. Like so, set simulate. And then you can just knock him down right away. Like this. Yeah, sometimes the sphere trace hits something, but it doesn't really hit the bone. That's also pretty useful if you want to play like something that maybe you're playing with swords and then you just slash the hell out of the skin of the character. That would be pretty useful, I think. So in case you want to play like a sound animation for maybe if you want to play a sound effect that is going to do that effect, you can do it here. In case the character just hits nothing, just hits the mesh, the surface of the mesh, but not really the bone. So in case the character really hits the bone, then we're going to get the real thing, not not only the bone, but we're going to get the real bone that was hit of the character, of the bot. And then we're going to stop the sphere trace. We're going to set the simulate physics. We're going to get the bot reference, so we can get to simulate the physics, and that's it. But now, so how we can do so that we can play an animation based on which bone the player has hit the character, the bot. So that's very easy. We're going to create a. Let me just check what is the type of this variable here. Its name. The type of variable is name. So we're going to create a bone hit or hit bone. Yeah, bone hit. We're going to change the type of variable. We're going to choose the name, and we are going to go back to here. Instead of simulating the physics, I'm going to delete this. But this is just what this was just a test for testing purposes. I'm not gonna really need that. After we stop the so we're going to delete this variable because I don't need it anymore. It's just for example. Now what we're gonna do, we're going to get that same variable that we created there. So it's called bone hit. We're going to get the bone hit. Actually, we're going to set the bone hit here, and it requires us to input a value to be in the place here. So we're going to get the hit bone name, and we're going to plug that directly into there. But for preventing any issues, we're going to unplug this and right click here on the UE4 bot, convert to a validated cat, so that we can prevent any issues that might occur, which can crash the whole game. All right. So yeah, I guess that's going to be it. So we're going to compile save. Let's hit on play now and see what we get. So when I punch the character, it says spine 2. That's the place that I hit, I think, the bot. Yeah, I think it's because the line trace is too big. Let me just... It gives me an impression that the sphere trace is too big, that it gives me impression that it's not really hitting the bot. So let's get a radius of 8. I think that works fine. Yeah, I think that's more fair. So as you can see, I mostly get the spine 2 as a hit reference, so I'm going to use that. So here on the locomotion, I'm going to double click on here, and I'm going to get the bone hit. So if the bone hit equals to spine 2, spine 0, 2, this can go to the entry transition, which is the transition rule, and the hit reaction is going to be the animation that we're going to be playing, which is this one right here. So when you press play, and then when we hit the spine 2, then the character is going to play the animation corresponding to that specifically hit reaction.